Of course. Based on that headline, here is a story that expands on the tragic event. The world had shrunk to a swirling, screaming whiteness. Each breath was a gasp of frozen needles, and the wind tore at their layers with invisible, brutal hands. What had begun as a challenging but manageable winter hike had transformed into a fight for survival inside a deadly blizzard on the unforgiving mountain. Liam and Anya, seasoned hikers and close friends, were locked in a desperate retreat. They moved as one entity, a four-legged creature of sheer will, leaning into the gale. Communication was impossible. It was reduced to a tap on the shoulder, a gesture into the void, a shared, grim understanding in their eyes whenever they dared to turn their faces from the storm. They were navigating a particularly treacherous ridge, a narrow spine of rock and ice they knew they had to cross to reach the relative safety of the tree line below. The exposure was absolute. One misstep, one weak patch of snow, and it happened with a sickening suddenness that would replay in Liam's mind forever. He felt the rope connecting them go taut with a violent jerk. He dug his ice axe in, his muscles screaming, but the force was too great. Anya's footing had given way on a patch of black ice hidden beneath a dusting of fresh snow. He saw her feet fly out from under her, her eyes wide with shock and fear for a single, frozen moment before she vanished over the edge of the cornice. The rope burned through his gloves, and he was dragged, stumbling, towards the precipice. He fought with every ounce of his strength, his boots scrabbling for purchase. For a few terrifying seconds, it was a tug of war against the mountain itself. Then, with a final, fraying snap, the rope parted, whether cut on a sharp rock or broken by the sheer strain, he would never know. The resistance vanished. Liam fell backward into the deep snow, the silence where Anya's weight had been more deafening than the storm. Anya! His scream was swallowed by the wind. He crawled to the edge, peering down into the maelstrom. Nothing. Just a steep, white slope disappearing into the grey abyss below. She was gone, swallowed whole by the mountain. A new, more profound cold seeped into him, the cold of dread and utter helplessness. He shouted until his throat was raw, but the blizzard offered no reply. He knew, with a mountaineer's grim logic, that to go down after her in these conditions was to commit suicide. His only chance to save her, if she was even still savable, was to save himself first, to get help. The rest of his descent was a blur of agony and autopilot. Every step was a battle against the desire to give up, to lie down in the snow and let the cold take him. The image of Anya's falling form was his only fuel. Get down. Get help. He repeated it like a mantra. Hours later, battered, frostbitten, and on the brink of collapse, he stumbled into the ranger station. His report was frantic, broken. A rescue team was scrambled immediately, but the blizzard forced them to wait out the worst of it. When they finally reached the slope where Anya had fallen, the storm had passed, leaving an eerie, pristine calm. The mountain lay under a deep, silent blanket, hiding its secrets. It was the search team who found her, halfway down the chute, partially buried in the snow where she had come to rest. Liam never saw her alive again. The reunion he had fought so hard for, the hope that had kept him moving, was extinguished by the sight of the rescue team's somber faces and the still, zipped-up shape of the rescue sled. He had survived the deadly blizzard, a testament to his strength and will. But he had lost his friend in the most brutal way possible, not to a long illness or a slow fade, but to a single, violent moment on a mountainside. He was left with the ghost of a rope's tension, the echo of a scream in the wind, and the eternal, haunting question of what might have happened if he had just held on.